Welcome back to our channel. In today's episode, we're going to talk about why doing shadow work kind of keeps people stuck sometimes.
In today's video, we're going to go over what shadow work actually is. We're going to talk a bit about masculine and feminine energy and really what the point of doing shadow work is. Like, why would people want to go and spend time in their shadows? And then we're going to talk about the difference between the way that people have been going about it, kind of the old way that has been keeping people stuck. And then we're going to show you a new way that's going to get you up and out a whole lot faster. So hang on.
So in case you don't already know, shadow work is where you take some time to go within, and going within is very feminine. You take time to go within and to look at what parts of you, which are mostly ego-based, are no longer serving you. Shadow work can also be going into the depths of your emotions. And if you are a little bit more masculine in energy like I am, then going deep into how you're feeling is something that I avoid most of the time. Women that run more feminine as far as their energy goes are very comfortable in emotions. So if you think of your traditional teenage boy and girl, the teenage boy is usually avoiding feeling and busy in sports, right? They don't really want to talk about how they're feeling. And the teenage girls, they're so absorbed and deep into their feelings, and they're so good at experience their feelings that sometimes they can get stuck there.
Absolutely. I'm learning as I'm step parenting girls now after raising a boy. It's a whole different ballgame. But it's important to note here too, Jamie, that we all have feminine and masculine energies within us. We all have a balance of them. So we're by no means saying that these are gender roles and girls are supposed to be this way and boys are supposed to be this way. It's just kind of, if that's the typical energy where boys tend to be more masculine, girls tend to be more feminine, but that can go, like Jamie said, she's more masculine in nature. So she is a doer. She is busy and always up to something. And if she was operating in her shadow masculine, she would be doing that in order to avoid her feelings.
Yeah, so we want to show you guys this slide here too. You know, as we show you what we mean by shadow feminine and shadow masculine, we could have had them on one slide, but we really want to show you that there is no right or wrong, and people aren't built one way. We all have moments where we experience the shadow and where we're in our shadow. And all that really means is that our ego is kind of running the show in this moment, typically because we're in a stress response. We're running an old pattern, a solution that we created for ourselves, maybe when we were as young as 5 to 11. And that pattern, due to the ego, is running and taking over. And that's typically what we mean by being in your shadow.
Absolutely. That's a really good description of it, Jamie. And so the purpose that people would go and consciously do shadow work would be to try to clean up some of the dusty, dark corners. They would shine a light in it and try to clean up some of those patterns. And because it's hard to make a change on something unless you can see it. So as things rise up to the surface, then you can see it and then you can work with that pattern. The trouble is that we have this part of our brain that will go and highlight whatever we're focusing on. So if we are focusing on problems and dark, dusty corners and shadows, guess what we're going to see for a long period of time are more shadows and more problems and more dark, dusty corners. For me personally, I spent probably a decade doing shadow work, healing work, energy work, meditation, reading spiritual texts, trying to clean up all of this before I was ready to put myself out to the world. And it actually kept me stuck until recently, in the last couple of years, I've learned a much easier way. So the reason somebody might do this kind of work would be to get over to the divine side of things, to get over into power, connection, beingness.
Yeah, I would say that that's the exact reason people do it, Lisa, is because they are trying to get themselves pulled into the light, which is that divine feminine or divine masculine energy, and whatever their typical ideal harmonized balance is. But remember what I told you earlier, that sometimes The problem is a solution you've created. And so while doing shadow work feels like a problem that you're trying to solve, it actually, for some people, is a solution they've created for themselves to keep them stuck. Safe, small, stuck, separate, and special are the 5 S's of ego at the expansion group for women. So it is actually a solution to keep them in the background, to keep them down into the depths, doing the shadow work so that they don't have to put themselves out there sharing their gifts with the world.
So beautiful, so true. And just to help you understand, for me personally, because I did this work for so long, it was kind of a disguise. It was like I was trying to answer the question, what's wrong with me, so that I could, like Jamie said, get into the light and step into my power. But continuously every day asking myself, what's wrong with me and how can I clean it up, was keeping me from ever actually just stepping into the light.
Yeah. And so you have this same light. We all have this same light within us. It didn't get placed into some people and not others. There are just some people that are in a stress response, chronically running these old patterns, and they can't see, they don't have the awareness to know that the problems in their lives are actually just old solutions they created, and now they're running on autopilot in their subconscious brain. And at the core of it all is a closed heart.
Old way is to go in and do the shadow work, maybe months, maybe years for some people, maybe decades for some people, if you're really on that spiritual quest or that healing quest. So what's a better way? What's a faster way? If that's the old way of shadow work, deep healing work, even mindset work, really trying to change, our mindset one little thought at a time. How can we do this faster?
So Lisa and I found out that there is a much faster way to put yourself into the light. And the quickest way, instead of trying to find the light outside of you, is to spend time going within instead of going down into the depths and getting stuck with those old programs. If you can manage to open your heart fully, which the women that we've been helping do this say, I don't know if I've ever felt this. Some say it's been decades, and some say, I don't know if I ever remember feeling this wide open. That's at the core of it, having that heart wide open, zero self-protection, centered in universal love or unconditional love, that spark of the divine, that spark of God that lives within each of us. You have to go within to find it. And then we teach you how to radiate it outward. And that's when your life starts to change, because remember, we're all connected. So instead of looking for shadows, which in yourself, which means really you're seeing a lot of shadows in others, when you look for the light within yourself, you see the light in others too.
So beautifully said, and so true. So doing the shadow work is really setting us up to want to do light work because we are light workers. So if you resonate with this, if you feel like you've been in the shadows, or if you feel like you have maybe been called to do some shadow work, but it feels kind of scary to you, we're going to let you know that doing heart-centered work is actually a much gentler and faster way. And I am personally now experiencing more receptivity, creativity, playfulness, where before I was very protected and controlling and manipulative because my heart was closed and protected. And so the more that you allow that heart to open, the more you can access those beautiful divine states. And then you feel really comfortable sharing your gifts with the world. And that is our message at the Expansion Group for Women, is that each of us has a unique gift to share with the world. And we want to see a world where more women are opening their hearts, sharing their love, radiating love out, being their authentic true selves, sharing their gifts with the world. And that was what we believe is going to transform the planet.
Yeah. And so remember, if you are stumbling upon this video because you're like, what is shadow work? I just want to say here that people are not good or bad. People are not dark or light. And so everyone has both sides. And it's just a matter of constantly gaining awareness. We use our conscious brain about 5% of the day. So having a community that can support you and not just learning, not just watching YouTube videos and learning with your brain, but also somatically down in your body, feeling the changes. Lisa and I help women kind of zip it and be quiet for a period of time and take a media break and really spend time finding that light within you so that you can then radiate it outward. And one of the coolest things that happens is the people around you, without you saying a word, start to do the same. They start to become their higher selves as well. It's the coolest thing on the planet.
It's really something to witness and to watch and to realize that they don't even know what's happening. But from my perspective, what's happening is that they feel emotionally safe around you because your heart's open. They kind of vibrationally match you and they go, oh, it feels safe right now for me to be open and be vulnerable. And they feel a profound love toward you and then want to give back to you. And so this is such an easier way than the traditional way of trying to go out and get people to love you or get love in a particular way, which of course I did the wrong way for a really long time.
Yeah. And so did I. So we're very different. Like she said, she runs a little bit more feminine and I definitely run a little bit more masculine, but through each other's coaching over the years, we are biological sisters, but we also took coaching each other very seriously. And it helped us create a method that we now have in a 7-day challenge. And so at the core of it is that open heart. If that's something that sounds interesting to you, if you're like, gosh, I don't know if my heart is fully open, this challenge is something that you can take. It's only 7 days. It's only 1 week. And we promise you that you're going to choose one relationship to focus on. And we promise you it will improve in just one week, just 7 days. I know it sounds nuts, but it honestly has transformed our lives and our relationships. And we want to help you do the same.
If you're sitting here going, yeah, but how? I have no idea how to even open my heart or what you guys are even talking about with an open heart. This challenge is laid out step by step, strategy by strategy. It gives you that exact framework that you can just kind of kick back and follow. So you don't have to spend years or decades trying to figure it out on your own. We've done that hard work for you, and we're going to show you the fast path.
So click below, check out that 7-day challenge, grab a sister, grab a friend if you want, take it together. Don't take it with anyone that you're doing the challenge for, though. I'll give you that heads up. The person that you're working on the relationship with does not need to know. We really suggest you say nothing to the other person. So we're so excited for your results. If you already took the 7-day challenge, comment below and let us know how it went.